One of the things that I get to do as a pastor is I perform wedding ceremonies for couples. And I generally do premarital counseling together, which we really like doing together. It's not only, I think, helpful for hopefully helpful for the new couple that's in the process of getting married. It's also been really helpful for us. And as we go through that process, we talk about lots of things. Eventually we get to what do we want the wedding ceremony to look like? And then we meet separately, or I meet separately with a couple actually to walk through all of the different elements of the wedding ceremony, where we kind of plan everything out, like when people are going to walk in, what kind of music is going to be, and like all of those kinds of details. And we do that together. I do that with a couple with a special awareness and emphasis on the bride. It's the bride and the groom's day, but it's really more the bride's day than it is the groom's day. And whenever we get to the rehearsal, which is usually the night before the wedding, I kind of gather everyone together and kind of give some instructions about what that process is going to look like. And I usually say, almost always say something like, all right, so I'm glad you're all here. I've been meeting with the name of the couple for the past several months. We've met, we've talked about like what the service is going to look like, what the flow is going to look like. And I always say this. And what you should know is you probably have a thought and an opinion of what should happen in the service. And when that happens, unless it's something like critical, like unless I've left just something dramatically glaring out, what you should do is you should just go ahead and keep your opinion to yourself. And I say that to everyone. I say that to the bridesmaids. I say that to the guys who are standing up for the guy. I say it to the bride's mom. I just announced that to everyone because we've already had that conversation, because this is about what the bride wants. And maybe, again, maybe some people have some opinions on flow or what they think should be done differently. But unless there's something glaring, like, you should just go ahead and keep your opinion to yourself on this. Because tonight, this day, the wedding day, it's about the bride. The focus is on the bride and the groom, and more the bride than the groom. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to what the bride wants over pretty much anybody else, unless there's something glaring. Sometimes I miss something. Sometimes I forget something. I forget to tell people to sit down or something like that. But like, unless it's some glaring thing, like, you should just go ahead and keep your opinion to yourself, because this is about the bride. And I was kind of thinking about that in the way that the role of the Holy Spirit is to point to Jesus. The role of the Holy Spirit is to glorify Jesus. The role of the Holy Spirit is to make it about Jesus. In John 16:14, it says this: He will bring me, Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit will bring me Jesus glory by telling you whatever he receives from me. So the role of the Holy Spirit is to glorify Jesus, is to proclaim Jesus, is to proclaim the truths of Jesus, to proclaim the gospel of Jesus. It's not other things. It's about pointing out and drawing attention to the reality of who Jesus is. And I think that can be a challenge for us in the way that we think about the Holy Spirit, because we think sometimes the Holy Spirit is going to I think the way I said this, like, he's going to provide like extra insight to us. And it's only extra if it reveals something to us about Jesus that we didn't know. It's not bonus content. I'm old enough to remember DVDs. And there used to be these different companies, different versions of DVDs that would come out were like the Criterion Collection, and it would have all of this bonus content, maybe interviews with the actors, or I remember the movie Armageddon. I still have the Criterion Collection DVD of Armageddon, and like Ben Affleck was kind of narrating it. That was like bonus content. And sometimes we think that the Holy Spirit is that. We think the Holy Spirit is like bonus content that we didn't know. But again, it's only information we don't know if we don't know it about Jesus. It's not going to be something, it may be new to us, but it's not new. Does that make sense? So my hope and my prayer for you is that you would stop seeing the Holy Spirit as kind of a bonus content narrator to the life of Jesus, and you would experience him as someone who just reveals the reality of who Jesus is. Not in a bonus content kind of way, but in a, yeah, it's right there. I can read it. I don't necessarily understand it, so I'm going to ask the Holy Spirit to expound upon that for me. But it's not going to be extra content. The Holy Spirit is not less than God the Father or Jesus the Son. And the Holy Spirit is not more than God the Father and Jesus the Son. The Holy Spirit is co-equal, co-eternal, different function, different role, proclaimer of Jesus, pointer to Jesus, revealer of Jesus. I love you. Praying with you, praying for you. We're going to wrap this thing up tomorrow when we talk about how we can know that we are following Jesus through the role and the power of the Holy Spirit. See you then.